Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Victor versus Nick, Phyllis' strengths, Noah in the hospital. On Monday, October 13th, 2025, spoilers for The Young and the Restless are available. In the upcoming episode, viewers can anticipate hearing Sharon Newman call in distress. Nick Newman receives an ultimatum from Victor Newman. Kane Ashby also capitalizes on Phyllis Summers' advantages. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. Hospitalized, Noah Newman. First, let's talk about Noah, who has a horrible accident in Los Angeles. Sharon is present at the medical facility. Sharon tears while she calls Nick on the phone in a waiting area. The blonde informs Nick about Noah's dire situation. A man enters the hallway while Sharon is on the phone at one point in the teaser footage. Though it was difficult to tell because he passed by so fast, the man seemed to be Chance Chancellor. With Sharon's back to him, the man did pause to look at her. Chance could not be dead, or it could just be an extra. Recall that even though he passed away on screen, we never received a funeral for him. Read more. Discover the events of YNR's most recent episode. Phyllis Summers' advantages. Kane isn't given up just yet, according to Monday, October 13th spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Despite having times when he thinks it's all over, he quickly recovers. The man will capitalize on Phyllis's advantages this time. Red is very skilled in electronics and hacking. What will he have her do, I wonder? Ultimatum by Victor Newman. Victor issues an ultimatum to Nick at the Newman Ranch. While Noah was struggling for his life, Victor wouldn't have Nick remain in Genoa City, would he? Although I am aware that legacy matters, I do believe that a life has greater value than money and business. Of course, there may be another reason behind the ultimatum. Read this. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Detective Burroughs' bond sparks Sharon and Nick's delay destroys chic reunion? The escape of Claire Grace Newman. We ought to see Claire Grace Newman move to Los Angeles as well, alongside Holden Novak. But don't count on Kyle Abbott to give up. The young man requests that Victoria Newman provide him with Claire's hotel address. Victoria might visit Claire in Los Angeles, but I don't see her doing that herself. Additionally, there is a preview clip that depicts Holden, Claire, and Sienna Bacall in an embarrassing scenario. Stay tuned, though, as it's unclear when this sequence will appear. On Monday, October 13th, 2025, which narrative are you most excited to see? Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. To find out what happens next, don't forget to continue watching the soap opera on CBS or Paramount+. Noah's crash, Chance sighting, and Sienna's debut. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, a preview clip for the week of October 13th, 2025 has been made public. It demonstrates that Noah Newman was involved in a terrible accident, but Chance Chancellor appears to be observing Sharon Newman in the background. Holden Novak also presents Sienna Bacall to Claire Grace Newman. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. The pressure of Kyle Abbott. Let's begin with Kyle Abbott, who has the insane notion that he must pursue Claire. The girl just left you by traveling 2,000 miles with a man she hardly knows, dude. However, Kyle is unreasonable and won't give Claire any room. Next week's preview video features Kyle addressing Victoria Newman. The young man wants to know Claire's Los Angeles lodging address. Victoria Newman's reluctance to. Victoria initially maintains her composure and informs Kyle that she has no idea what he anticipates from her. Kyle goes on to clarify that he just wants an address. Based on the expression on her face, Victoria might propose a middle ground. Victoria might agree to go with him to Claire's hotel, even though she might not give it to him. The debut of Sienna Bacall. Claire is taken to a club in Los Angeles by Holden. At that point, Sienna makes her significant debut. Claire is introduced to the club owner. "Anyone is better than that last one you were with," Sienna tells Holden directly in front of Claire. "Something Audrey." Sienna does refer to her as Audrey rather than Audra Charles, so it's not a typo. Sienna seems to disagree with Holden's insistence that Claire is merely a friend. The crash of Noah Newman. According to spoilers for the week of October 13th on The Young and the Restless, Noah will be involved in a serious accident. Sharon and Nick Newman are speaking on the phone in Los Angeles. Someone is watching from a distance as she tears and informs Nick that Noah was in a very serious accident. Chancellor of Chance. Although it may seem improbable given Chance's death on screen, a man passes by the waiting area and gives Sharon extra attention. In order to avoid seeing him, Sharon has now turned her back. But it looks exactly like Chance. One of The Young and the Restless' most intensely emotional and intricately nuanced episodes to date is about to air. This episode, which airs on Monday, October 13th, 2025, skillfully balances sadness, conflict, and unexpected fortitude. In addition to exposing the complex web of Genoa City's most recent unrest, the main plot lines, Noah Newman's hospitalization, the impending father-son conflict between Victor and Nick, and Phyllis Summers' unexpected alliance with Kane Ashby, also shed light on the deeper issues of identity, loyalty, and legacy that motivate each of the city's most recognizable figures. The question of how far love can stretch before breaking, and whether there can be redemption when every choice feels like a betrayal, are explored beneath the glitzy exterior of family secrets and corporate conflicts. Hospitalization of Noah Newman. A mother's fear and a father's predicament. The episode begins with the eerie quiet that follows a catastrophe. Sharon Newman sits in a sterile waiting room in a hospital in Los Angeles, her world diminished to the monotonous ache of worry and the steady beep of machinery. Following a tragic tragedy, her son, Noah Newman, is unconscious. As she contacts Nick Newman, we observe Sharon's voice quivering and her trembling hands gripping her phone. The formerly self-assured woman who battled heartache, loss, and demons is reduced to a helpless mother who is pleading for her son's life and hoping for a miracle. Years of fortitude and recuperation were put to the test in one instant, and Sharon's pain is palpable. For devoted followers, this scenario brings up memories of her previous losses: Ray's unexpected death, Faith's near-fatal illnesses, and Cassie's death. Although Sharon has always handled tragedy with calm dignity, her poise breaks in this situation. As she informs Nick that Noah's health is critical, her sobbing reverberates across the hallway. It serves as a poignant reminder of her past, and that, in spite of all of her development, life still challenges her fortitude and faith. The tragedy itself isn't the only thing that makes this moment so dramatic. The unsettling man who appears to be Chance Chancellor is also seen in the backdrop. Just enough time is spent on camera for followers to start doubting everything they believe to be true. Is Chance really still alive? The authors purposefully sow doubt in order to foster conjecture. Although Sharon is facing away from him, his fleeting gaze in her direction seems purposeful, even spectral. The emotional course of Sharon's story in the upcoming weeks will depend on whether this is a stress-induced hallucination or a genuine comeback. If Chance is still alive, the mystery is increased by his quiet presence as Sharon suffers. Prior to his alleged passing, Sharon and Chance had a peaceful, respectful relationship based on understanding and empathy. His reappearance now at her weakest point might represent unresolved matters or perhaps a stroke of luck. But for the time being, Sharon can only grasp onto hope, not realizing that the questions she believed to be unanswerable might be hidden in the shadows behind her. Just as important is Nick's response to the phone call. Nick is forced to decide whether to rush to Los Angeles out of obligation or emotion, to stay in Genoa City and oversee the Newman empire in the face of increasing corporate instability, or to be by his son's side. The episode's emotional core is this moral struggle, which emphasizes how, within the Newman dynasty, family affection and corporate dominance frequently conflict. Nick Newman versus Victor Newman. Legacy, management, and the end. Victor Newman, calm, cunning, and completely unyielding, stands in the shadow of his own legacy back at the Newman Ranch. Victor doesn't console Nick when he storms in, disturbed by Sharon's call. Rather, he makes a shocking ultimatum that shakes the household. Although it's initially unclear if the ultimatum has anything to do with Noah's problem, Victor's timing is brutal. Victor insists that Nick stay in Genoa City and put the company and the Newman name above everything else, including his wounded kid. It's a vicious but characteristically Victor maneuver. Emotion, in Victor's opinion, is weakness, and dynasties are destroyed by weakness. He believed that Nick's absence at a pivotal board struggle or merger may undo decades of empire building. But it's unfathomable to Nick. His son is battling for his life in a hospital bed. The stark generational divide between father and son is revealed by Victor's icy statement that the company cannot afford to fall apart because of sentiment. This is a moment about identity, not simply business. Victor, who gave up all for power, has always viewed himself as the protector of Newman Enterprises. He feels that his kids, Nick in particular, owe their allegiance to the family name as well as to him. But Nick represents a more human way of thinking. His moral compass leans toward empathy rather than dominance. Their relationship is defined by this conceptual conflict between duty and decency, legacy and love. If the company means more to you than your own grandson, then maybe it's already dead, Nick yells in a forceful exchange. Victor narrows his eyes and answers with cold precision. The company is the family Nicholas. We are nothing without it. The ensuing silence is deafening, the sound of two generations realizing they might never comprehend each other. Victor's demands are never straightforward. As viewers of the show are aware, his angry comments frequently conceal a deeper agenda. Could Nick's allegiance be put to the test? A ploy to force Nick to return under Victor's authority? Or maybe Victor already has some information regarding Noah's accident that he chooses not to disclose. The timing seems too exact, too planned. Victor might start a quarrel that permanently reshapes the Newman family if he was even partially responsible for what transpired. A mute observer of the altercation is Nikki Newman, who is caught between husband and son. Heartbreak flickers across her face as her eyes stray between them. She is too familiar with Nick's disobedience and Victor's arrogance. Nikki murmurs, "This isn't about business anymore," as their voices rise. The subtle yet profound statement emphasizes the true danger. They're tearing themselves apart from the inside out. It's about survival. Strengths of Phyllis Summers, Kane's cunning gambit. Another chess match that blurs the boundaries between alliance and manipulation is taking place across town. Although Kane Ashby has always been torn between ambition and morality, his fixation with regaining power has recently driven him to extreme lengths. Kane discovers he needs a partner who can match his cunning and ruthlessness after a string of unsuccessful strategies and growing adversaries. Here comes Phyllis Summers, a lady whose genius is only matched by her unpredictable nature. Kane presents Phyllis with his most recent plan, but she is not a pawn like the others he has controlled. She is the queen of reinvention, a woman who uses her suffering as a weapon and flourishes under duress. According to the teasers, Kane plays to Phyllis's strengths, and he does just that. He brings to mind her unparalleled aptitude for hacking, coding, and secret finding, which she previously employed to reveal corporate wrongdoing and even influence Newman Media's security measures. Kane's appeal isn't merely strategic this time, though. He satisfies Phyllis's emotional need for respect and significance. After being betrayed, humiliated, and heartbroken, Phyllis has been rebuilding her life for months. She has been disregarded, undervalued, and even pity-treated. Kane now gives her what she wants, another opportunity to show herself and outsmart the guys who rejected her. However, Kane is unaware that he might have just let a far more deadly player loose by allowing Phyllis to play his game. Phyllis's eyes sparkle with that familiar fire as she hears his tone. She is aware that Kane is trouble, but she also understands that she thrives in trouble. She gives him a half grin and says, "You think you can use me, but you forget. I'm usually the one holding the joystick." Her words sever the tension like a blade, and Kane returns the smile, which is equal parts warning and respect. Their union is unstable, and their chemistry is electric. It won't be long before Phyllis reverses the situation if Kane wants her to alter market data or hack into Newman data. Phyllis never takes a back seat, and her devotion is based on opportunity and self-interest. Ironically, Kane believes he is taking advantage of Phyllis's strengths, but in reality, she is researching him in anticipation of the time when she would turn his scheme against him. The way both characters reflect each other's shortcomings, bright brains motivated by insecurity and ambition tinged with desperation, is what makes this interplay so intriguing. Phyllis and Kane are essentially two sides of the same coin. Survivors who discovered that being dangerous is the best way to remain important in Genoa City. The escape of Claire Grace Newman, a daughter on the run. The Newman family's influence in Los Angeles, meanwhile, extends well beyond Genoa City. Holden Novak and Claire Grace Newman, Victoria's estranged daughter and Victor's granddaughter, continue their ambiguous trip. They fled to Los Angeles, is more of an escape from emotional turmoil than a romantic retreat. Claire is still attempting to find her identity apart from the Newman name, which is both poisonous and powerful. Charming but mysterious, Holden has become her confidant far too soon. Although he seems protective, his motivations are still unknown, and the history of the program cautions that trust in the young and the restless is never free. Holden presents Claire to a new character upon their arrival in Los Angeles. Sienna Bacall, the seductive and astute proprietor of a posh club. With Sienna's debut, the tone changes to one of glamour over terror. Her remarks regarding Holden's previous relationships set the tone right away when she first meets Claire. Anyone is better than that last one you were with. The purposeful mispronouncing of Audra Charles as Audrey is not only offensive, it serves as a subliminal reminder of how perception and rumors may distort reality in their society. Holden and Sienna obviously have a past together, and her possessive tone suggests unresolved tension. Ever observant, Claire picks up on the undertone and slightly backs off, sensing that this new partnership might not be as benign as it first appears. With attraction, jealousy, and an implied threat mixing beneath the neon lights, the scenario is rife with subtext. Victoria, on the other hand, is still in Genoa City, divided between letting her daughter go and keeping her safe from a distance. But Kyle Abbott isn't going to give up. He addresses Victoria directly in a frantic attempt to discover Claire because his passion with her has turned into obsession. Their argument erupts in annoyance as Victoria refuses to betray her daughter's confidence and Kyle demands an address. However, Victoria's hesitancy betrays her inner turmoil. She is aware that Kyle's perseverance might do more harm than good, but she also understands that love, even misplaced love, can occasionally be the saving grace for an individual. Victoria eventually appears to think about reaching a settlement, possibly going to Los Angeles, herself in order to protect Claire. The episode's themes, mothers defending their kids, even when they no longer want to be protected, are all connected by this choice. The ghost of chance and Noah's crash. The plot returns to Sharon, who is still waiting outside Noah's hospital room as the program approaches its most poignant moment. Her mind is elsewhere, troubled by the picture of the man she saw earlier, even though her phone is buzzing with messages of concern from Genoa City. Did Chance do it? Is he really still alive? She is plagued by ambiguity, which exacerbates the bizarre anguish she is experiencing. Noah's condition inside the hospital room is still quite bad. Machines flicker and buzz, each beeping like a frail heartbeat that binds him to life. "You're strong, baby," Sharon whispers as she places her fingers on the glass. The irony that strength has become both her boon and her bane is echoed by her voice breaking as she says, "You always have been." The door creaks open abruptly. The same man enters, the same one who passed before. He pauses, remaining in the dark. The camera switches to darkness as Sharon turns in surprise. Fans are rushing to replay every shot because of the brilliant cliffhanger. The Young and the Restless has just pulled off one of its most spectacular comebacks in recent memory, if this is Chance Chancellor. However, Sharon might be in even more danger than she thinks if it's not Chance, or if it's someone else. Themes interconnected: reinvention, legacy, and loss. The way that all of the narratives in this episode are mirrored is what makes it so captivating. Victoria, Phyllis, Victor, and Sharon are all struggling with different aspects of the same reality: that control is a myth and that every decision has repercussions that spread like shattered glass. How to maintain hope in the face of impending calamity is Sharon's emotional battle. How to preserve power in a world that is changing out of his control is Victor's philosophical concern. How to remain valued and relevant in a society that never forgives her past is Phyllis's existential question. Additionally, Victoria is maternal. She knows how to keep her kids safe without making the same mistakes as her father. What does it mean to defend family when love itself has turned into a battlefield is the central topic that unites all of these storylines. That question isn't properly addressed in the episode because in The Young and the Restless, consequences last a lifetime while answers are just ephemeral. Instead, viewers are left feeling tense, caught between hopelessness and excitement, as they know that the upcoming episode has the potential to either mend or reopen old wounds. Next steps: presenting future collisions. The aftermath of what happened on October 13th will surely change the face of Genoa City in the future. If Noah lives, his mishap might reveal secrets that are connected to Kane's plots or possibly Victor's business conflicts. Chance's actual homecoming would rock both the Chancellor and Newman families, renewing long-standing betrayals and relationships. A cyber war that involves Abbott Industries, Chancellor Winters, and Newman Enterprises is probably going to be sparked by Phyllis's participation with Kane. Victor's demand to Nick may cause irreparable family disintegration and lead to a power struggle between the Newman father and son. Additionally, with Sienna Bacall's presence appending the dynamic, Claire's trip in Los Angeles may bring a perilous new world of temptation, treachery, and self-discovery. Finally, soap operatic balance masterclass. The episode Noah Hospitalized, Victor vs. Nick, Phyllis's Strengths is a perfect illustration of how The Young and the Restless keeps up with its history while still evolving. It combines the core elements of Genoa City storytelling: intrigue, romance, and business warfare, with unadulterated human passion. By the time the titles have rolled, viewers are left speechless, divided between admiration for Phyllis, anger at Victor, sadness for Sharon, and interest in Chance's potential resurrection. The Young and the Restless has endured for decades because of its ability to make the epic feel intimate and the remarkable feel intimate. This episode encapsulates what makes the show so great. We are reminded of the show's eternal truth as the sun sets over Genoa City and the camera lingers on Sharon's tearful face. No matter how much wealth, love, or legacy one accumulates, fate always manages to level the playing field. The following chapter of The Young and the Restless starts in that precarious area between hope and despair.